Get ready. The 42nd International Reggae and World Music Awards Show is coming to the Coral Springs Center for the Arts, Fort Lauderdale on Sunday, March 20, 2025. Celebrate the biggest names in reggae and world music as we bring nations together through music and culture. Early bird tickets are on sale now. Don't miss out. Grab yours today at thecentercs.com or irama.com and book your stay for an unforgettable weekend. Hurry, prices go up after Thanksgiving. Follow us on social media and visit our website, www.irawma.com for more details. The 42nd Irama Show, where the world comes to celebrate music.
Cultivation with King Simon. Text me now at 347-496-1022. You can also take my course if you want to, but do text me for your sessions at 347-496-1022. You can also get my books on Amazon at linktree/King Simon the Numerator. Remember, you can book your session and get it done right now. 347-496-1022. That's 347-496-1022. King Simon the Numerator. All right, family. It's 1 minute before we get our guests on. It's 1 minute before the top of the hour. Your brother's in the building. Remember, welcome to King Simon Presents only quality people, quality information, quality products, and just quality all around. Remember, join our membership. Please join our membership where all the lessons that I'll be breaking down with the numbers are there, ready for you, and nice. Yesterday, we had a wonderful event yesterday at the New Black Wall Street with the Godfest, the 9 Ether Godfest. I had a good time, man. I'll talk about that probably tomorrow more. And I think Brother Rich is going to come up and talk about it tonight. So we'll probably be up there tonight. Tonight, we got a special guest coming up with us, our brother Ras Kofi. Known him for quite a while, but also known some people that we all connected to and affiliated with back in the day. I know them, and plus being part of this Caribbean community is like we all locked in and curried up on ready. You know what I'm saying? Don't forget, Abundance Child is coming in this Wednesday with her husband, John Carr. Can't wait to have Abundance Child, known Abundance Child for many years. I also understand that Abundance Child and Ras Kofi know each other for many years. So that should be very interesting to find out more information. And don't forget, we got a tribute to Dr. Delbert Blair on Thursday as a special broadcast to his birthday, his Earth Strong. Tribute to Dr. Delbert Blair happening right here. And then on Sunday, next Sunday, we have Brother Sabir Bey and Dr. Philip Valentine coming in live and direct. And then Wednesday, we have Dr. Alicia Kayer Ill. We changed the time to 3:30 that afternoon. It's going to be hot. It's going to be beautiful. So make sure y'all are in the building for this. And do remember the grammar of numerovation and how to consciously articulate it. This is my next workshop that's coming up on February the 22nd from 1 to 3 p.m. If you want to get those early bird tickets. The early bird tickets go for early bird for until the 11th. And then it goes up. Go to my linktree/King Simon the Numerator. All right, family. The brother that I have on, but I've been on his show. I don't think he's been on my show before, but I'm honored to have the brother on for the first time that's coming up. And we're going to do what we got to do to spread some love about how to cultivate to live. I want to let everybody know, please like, subscribe, and share this video because cultivation is very important. I grew up in the Caribbean and learning how to do that or watching my grandfather do it. My mother still does it in her backyard right in America today. So without any further ado, the brother that I'm about to bring on, make sure you support him. And he's not only a farmer, but he's a life cultivator and entrepreneur. His website is ondafarm.com. His PayPal on the farm pros at Gmail. His Cash App is $ on the farm, and his Facebook is Ras Kofi. His IG is at the Farm the Future Academy. And without further ado, we're gonna bring on our brother right now from another brother, a brother from another mother and father. Good brother, man. Let's bring him on with a well-deserved round of applause. Here's my clapping button right now. Let's welcome the one and only Ras Kofi in the building. Ras Kofi, how are you, sir?
Blessed love, King Simon. Can you hear me well?
I can hear you. Let me just move this out of the way and make sure everything is in the way. All right, brother. How you doing, brother?
Doing well, man. Giving thanks. Giving thanks. I'm really grateful to be here with you. Thank you for the invite.
Yes, I think this is
Your
your
work
first.
means something really special to me. Even on a personal level. So to have you on to be on your program is a
Yes, sir.
blessing.
Yeah, I know you had me on your program, brother, and that was respectful, man. I enjoyed every minute. You can hear me?
I can hear you well. My volume is a little low on my side, but
Okay, can you turn up your volume? I could hear you. I could hear you. So I want you to make sure you can hear me. I guess I got to speak up a little louder, huh?
no, you're good. You're good. It's
Okay.
just probably a setting that I'm thinking. But I'm tuned in with you.
All right,
Maybe
no
if we
problem.
take a
No
break,
problem.
I can switch devices.
I usually take a break probably at the 30. So if we go that long, if you don't, just want I usually just want to keep things simple and keep it moving. And today's environment is going through a lot, as you know.
Mm.
And as a farmer and a life cultivator yourself, entrepreneur in the business of what you do, and you also a musician, and you deal with a lot of that. So that's good to know that you're doing your work through that. And we also know a mutual friend who transitioned to one, the only Karen Mason. Man, enough
Yes,
respect to
sir.
her. Her
Yes, sir.
birthday came past, right? Birthday passed,
Yeah,
right? January
January the 21st. January
21st.
the 21st.
21st. Yeah, she's Aquarian like myself. I remember that. And you know, before we go into that, man, what's some of the memories you remember from about Karen, my brother?
Wow.
Let's
It's funny because I want to tell you, I'm part of why I'm using this device. I'm just coming from a life celebration, so
yes. I know.
I'm really pensive right now about that. I want to use the word that mystical space between this physical reality and the other
Yes,
reality, which is a more permanent reality.
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Um,
Yes, sir. Yes,
and the reality of that, like the word metaphysical got physical in it. So it's not like an escapism or something,
exactly.
and I say that, even as you talk about Karen,
That's my
one
girl.
thing I really respect and enjoy about you and your service, tuning in and investing in your ministry,
Yes,
as
sir.
I've done a few years with terms of numerational, is you
Yes, sir.
always start off and say like, this ain't mystic, this is science, this is math,
Right,
you
right.
know. And I
Yes.
don't take that as something that you were saying that mysticism don't have its place. You're just
Don't,
saying like, let's make it real tangible. And so
right.
me, like Peter Tosh say, I'm a mystic man. And
Yeah,
Karen Marie Mason, in many ways, really embodies that beautiful balance. A
yeah,
sister who I know her, intimately to
yeah,
move and be guided by spirit
yeah,
and bring that to tangible reality. So
yeah.
it just don't stay in the spirit world, but
Yes,
deeply touched by the spirit of our ancestors,
yes,
passionate about that, true. They used to call her the Harriet Tubman. I
yeah,
remember when she came to Atlanta and just started moving the way she does.
yes.
That energy, that reputation went before her as like a Harriet Tubman vibe, and I could see that.
And you
Very passionate. Sorry.
and that's what even how to cultivate to live is all because she was somebody that cultivated artists, cultivated the culture of Caribbean music and all that, especially back in the day in New York when I knew her from in New York, and she did a lot of cultivating. And
Yeah, man. I mean,
it-
seriously, and I mean, I'm sure we're gonna have a chance to get into that later. But cultivating is not just
right,
like a kind of willy nilly surface thing.
yes,
It
sir,
takes vision,
yeah,
true cultivation.
yes,
And Karen, definitely a visionary.
yes, you was,
And again, I can't speak enough, as you would know intimately, King Simon, the people whose feet she stood at
yeah,
and sat at,
yeah,
it make perfect sense. So we talking about all the giants of that intellectual revolutionary warfare generation
that's right,
coming through the late 70s or early 80s, like Dr. John Henry Clark and Dr. Joseph Ben Hakkinen and Dr. Charles C. McIntyre and
yes,
Dr. Francis Cress Welsing and Kofi Opare to Phil Valentine to Laila Africa, and yeah,
Yeah.
the Slave Theater, well.
Was the
So
slave.
she was very much a part of curating that
Yeah.
process,
Yeah.
as a right hand person of the attorney at war Automatics.
Automatics.
And
Yeah.
that's the context in which I met Karen. And we
Yes.
ended up doing a lot of work together,
And,
on many
and
levels. And one of the things I'm most proud of is an element called the Love Garden. We started doing promotion together.
mm,
We brought people like Muta Baruka and
yes,
Dick
we did.
Gregory and Batch and so many different people, Dr. Richard King, the Melanin Man,
I
and
have his book
just
right here.
a wide variety of people that, as you well know, our culture, the enemy of our humanity tries to separate. Well, here's the academics over here, here's the music over here, and that's extracurricular. But
Yeah.
as you know, the village life is got all of them facets in it, and
Exactly.
we were able to do that. So you asked me about Karen, brother. That could take up the whole show, but
I know. I know. I know. I know. I know.
much
I know.
respect to that sister, to her essence.
Yeah.
I really felt her presence today. We just celebrating the life of a young brother who transitioned
Wow.
right before his 50th born day, the night
Wow.
before,
Wow.
and seeing all his children there, the living stamp of their father, Pharrell Davis from
Yeah.
Kings with Style. It
Mm,
brought, many people who we know from them times, from 20, 30 years ago in Atlanta, came out the woodworks to celebrate him. So it was a moment where Karen, as one who came through more like in the 90s, but still left such an imprint,
yes.
was very present in the room for sure.
Yes. The only reason I brought her up is because of her rich legacy. And of course, we just lost another great called Neely Fuller Jr.
Yes,
We
sir.
lost brother
Yes, sir.
Neely Fuller. And
Respect.
and we lost an icon, trailblazer in the music business again, like Irv Gotti and all these guys from Trinidad. His family's from
True.
Trinidad. So, respecting him and Chris Gotti, although they did another genre of music, but they understood music and the cultivation of people and artists. And cultivation is not just what we're growing in our backyard or on our farms, but cultivating people is so important. And cultivating talent was so important. That's why I mentioned Karen. And we're still in the Aquarian vibe. We just celebrated Dennis Brown, Bob Marley, Bunny Ruggs. All leave our people right now. Bert Strong is going on right now. Tennis Saw's birthday is coming up. Who she knew these people also, So a lot of things running, but we're gonna get right into the show. First and foremost, I want to thank all the people that's coming in. Our guest is here, Ras Kofi, great brother farmer. Of course, you can see he's also been part of the music. And he's also on radio. What's the radio station you're on again, brother? Please.
This is 89.3 WRFG. Yes.
WRFG, right in Atlanta,
89.3
Georgia,
FM.
man. Yes, love it, man.
Yes.
Love it. Been on his show before. Um, you know, let's get to the subject matter. The subject matter, family, I want you to know is how to cultivate to live. Putting a little spin on what the most honorable Elijah Muhammad said, how to eat to live. Because that's basically what you're going to do when you're cultivating anyway. Yeah, how to eat to live, you got to know how to cultivate to live. And that's why the most honorable Elijah Muhammad was a proponent of having farms and farmland and all that kind of. Garvey was also a part of that farmland growing up, especially in Jamaica. We had to have these farmlands, and the Noble Drew Ali had to have farmlands. All of the spiritual teachers and leaders used to teach about farm. Dr. York, Imam Isa talked about farmland back in the day. So, what started you on this journey of wanting to help to cultivate to live or help others to learn how to cultivate to live, brother? What started you on this journey?
Well, it took to keep it short and concise. I have to give respect to my mother,
Yes, yeah,
Chaiko Kwayana, who is
yeah,
now with the Egungun, now with the ancestors.
yes,
I have
yes.
many pictures on my social media page and everything,
Mm-hmm.
throwback pictures of my mama having me milk the cows with her,
Mm,
or the fact that I used to have to take the cows to the pasture before I went to school. I left Guyana, my
yeah.
native land,
Mm,
in the year 1982,
mm-hmm.
83. I was like 10 years old
Mm,
in political exile. But before that time, for those 10, 11 years, huh, we're talking about such a rich imprint left on me in terms of the meaning of life in very simple ways. So
mm-hmm.
being on the farm, being in the garden with my mother, and being hands-on with my mother. As most children, this is, I mean, that's not an anomaly.
That's right.
You
That's
know,
right.
I want you to know this is how people, live in that type of society. Even whether you're professional in a blue collar or white collar worker and all these kind of categories we have in society now,
Mhm.
everybody got their little garden.
Yes. Right. 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 Right.
So it started there, and
Mhm.
of course, when we moved here, the emphasis was education.
Right.
Uh, However, there was always this thing when we stayed in Atlanta for a while. My mother has her roots are in Southwest Georgia,
Mhm.
and then we eventually he's a pioneer in education both in Guyana, and she taught on three continents, and on the African continent as well as here.
Mm.
Work with people like Nana Bafour right behind me, and Runoko Rashidi, and
Yes.
Baba Obadeli. These were all names I remember at an early age when we came over here as comrades she linked up with in
That's right.
that intellectual warfare, as a teacher, as a seasoned teacher. But
That's right.
anyway, the focus was education. But even as a youth man coming through from Atlanta, then we moved to California. So I'm in California in the midst of the cracks and gang central era
Right.
of the mid 80s going up, when crack really hit us like a Mack truck in the chest,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
chemical warfare and then the gang warfare, all of those things. So I was more into music and girls and all of that, as young people, as young man would.
That's
And
right.
then, but I always remember visiting aunties and uncles in LA and them places where you see somebody's thriving garden. And I always remember having that warm feeling because I
Mm.
really miss home, King Simon.
Of
I
course.
felt like I felt like coming from my experience, to be honest, to be transparent, it felt like coming from a big fish in a small
Mm.
pond to a little
Mm.
fish in a big pond,
Right. Right.
not
Right.
fitting in with the popular culture in America,
Of course. Of course.
because my parents were very deliberately African, Pan African in their way and in
Yes.
their movement, how they treated people. So not no holier than thou, but definitely in the dress and all that. So I was different. You feel me?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I remember seeing gardens everywhere, and this really sparked my interest. That gave me a warm feeling. But make a very long story very short. It wasn't until I left college in Augusta, Georgia, and came back to Atlanta and became a father.
Mm.
An instinct kicked in. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what, that's my contribution to the whole conversation about cultivation in a nutshell.
Mm.
It's, education in itself. The root
Mm.
word educe means to bring out that which is in one. So it's
Right.
not like stuffing something new into people, you know, all this kind of stuff is bringing is animating that which is dormant within us. And so
Right.
that's what being a father did. Like
Yeah.
literally, I remember we right there. For those of y'all in Atlanta, you know where Malcolm X Park is, Malcolm X Fest every year. We were right there in the corner lot, across from the Masjid of Imam Jamil
Jamil.
Al
Right.
Amin.
I mean. Right.
And our family, remember, we had a discussion, we had a debate, like because part of the family, it was two families living together in a good sized house. And part of some elder couple who were kind of jegnous to us and me
Mm.
and my wife at the time. And I just remember we had this debate. Like some of them said we want grass, and I was like, well, we can't eat grass, so we came to a compromise where half of it was a lawn and half of it was a garden.
Right. Right.
And my,
Right.
my first daughter was born 29 years ago. I remember doing things like setting up a makeshift chicken coop and setting the garden in the front and the back and everything. So
Mm.
yeah, that's how it started in terms of, and then it just took off in terms of when you apply yourself to something,
Yeah.
that thing will see you just like
Yes.
you see it. Any science of life, is going to
Yes.
nurture you if you show yourself approved, you show yourself diligent, you show
Right.
yourself deeply interested. I'm sure you know that as
Right.
a
Right.
teacher yourself. If a youth come to you and you see that this person got, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. Yeah.
they ain't
Yeah.
just looking at thing, but they got some, you're going to take a certain vibe
Right.
to that. Well, that's how nature is with us.
Right.
So it
Right.
really, it started from there and developed swiftly because also, Martin Luther King was quoted one time. He actually quoted he was quoting Victor Hugo.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember Martin Luther King was the one who uttered it and really left an impression on me. He's like, there's nothing in the world more powerful than an idea whose time has come.
Mm.
So just like I know you, King Simon, as a numerologist, you would be able to
Yeah.
say from that perspective
Yeah.
that the mid 90s, reaching into the turn of the century, reaching into all of these things that were happening in creation was a
Right.
time where it's like the cosmic energy, the plasma that society lived in was a time of change, right? A time
Right.
of enlightenment,
Exactly.
waking out of a slumber, a time of that,
Exactly.
So that naturally agriculture as the first culture going to play a huge part in that. And we're still in that process. We're still awakening. We're still reawakening. However,
Powerful.
there are certain things that have given us the impetus, given society the impetus to pay attention. And I would say one of them just happened a few years ago. I'm sitting in a place that used to be called Shamba, now it's called Oyun Botanical Gardens,
Mm-hmm.
owned by Queen Yin of Oyun Ministries, a
Mm-hmm.
place that has many legends in terms of Atlanta agriculture through the
Mm-hmm.
years. But at that point, it was called Shamba. And I remember we had our self grand opening on, what was that, March the 6th? And
Mm-hmm.
2 days later, 2000, March the 6th, 2000,
Mm-hmm.
2 days later, a global pandemic is declared.
Wow.
While
Yeah.
many businesses crashed, our businesses,
Flourish.
and
Of course.
just to answer your question, to me,
Mm-hmm.
that speaks to what was already in our DNA, what's already in our instinct, and now here come a natural thing that give us the impetus to say, "Yo, we gotta feed ourselves because we know deep, we don't trust these people. We know we don't know
Right.
what's up. Ain't nobody faced a pandemic before in our lifetime.
That's right.
But
That's right.
instinct kicked in.
Yeah.
Unfortunately or fortunately, I don't want to give too much judgment to that.
Right. Right.
Sometimes that's what it takes. Marcus Garvey said,
Yeah.
we don't know ourselves to the back against
Like
the
you said,
wall. So,
well, exactly. That's the truth. Yeah, and that is absolutely true, man. Coming up from the Garvey era and learning a lot of that, and having a grandfather that used to cultivate and have his little mini farm in his backyard in Jamaica, and then my mother doing the same thing right now, going about to be 86 years of age, still cultivating food in the backyard. She'll brag. People bring to the people in the backyard. Send me cucumber there, send me tomato there, send me
oh,
pepper there, send me mint right there. And she's showing all this in our little backyard right now in Brooklyn.
say,
As she's growing, she's preparing everything for this next season to come up. So she's already on the almanac, and it's not an almanac on the wall. It's just something intuitively. She's ready right around her birthday because she's born around April 21st. So she's
oh,
right there,
wow.
right there, not too far from you, sir. So
Yes, sir.
she's right there, already knows what she got to do a month before her birthday comes in. She's already on it. So she's been
Respect.
like that from my grandfather's time. So one time I went to my mother and said, "Mom," I said, "Mom, did you ever?" Because she never really sat down and taught us how to do it or do any. And I always asked her, "Mom, why didn't you just made it part of our curriculum in America? Because I know sometimes, when she works at night and all that kind of stuff, being a single parent for a certain amount of time, she has a lot of things to do. So she couldn't really teach us the way she wanted. We had to observe. But she always said,
True.
between me and my sister, she thought I would take on that more. And true, I do tap in, but I don't tap in. I remember one time I was living somewhere, and my mother only told me to come back, and she went away to the Caribbean, and she said, just make sure you water my plants,
Mm.
right, in the house. So one of the plants died. Well, it is. I assume that it died because I started crying. I don't know why. Now I'm like 30 years old, and I'm like, man, because
Mm.
I know my mother loved her plants. So I
Mm.
said, man, she only told me to water it, and I did water it, but I think I watered too much. Yo, when she came back, all she did was do something, and she did something with the soil, and this plant
Yeah.
just started shooting up again. I'm like, yo,
Yeah. Yeah.
what kind of magic was this, mom?
That
I'm
black
all,
that black woman magic.
boy,
That black woman magic.
when I say I boo-hooed, cried because of that, and I didn't know, because I know how since I was a child, how she was with her plants. So
True.
it really, really touched me to see that she was able to just put her hands back in there and do what she had to do. And the plants and my father's like that too. He's in Florida. My father's like that too, because they coming from those islands doing their thing. They're coming from way down south. They're not just down south, they way down south.
Yes, sir.
One of the questions I would like to ask you is a quote by Sun Tzu. not Sun
Mm.
Tzu, by Lao Tzu. He says, "Nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished."
Mm. Mm.
Now,
King Simon.
how true is that from your perspective as a farmer and all of that? Nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished.
And King Simon, you tapping into the source, brother. You tapped into the source. That is in a nutshell the the message of our times.
Mm,
From hearing a little bit of your very compelling story about your life, I
yes,
remember being intrigued and how, we come from a time, you're a little bit my senior brother, but we come from a time, generally a generation that
yes, sir.
was about the responsible attitude is let's get it. Let's
Yes,
get out and get it.
get out and get it.
This
Yeah,
brother we just celebrate today, his son's like, man, daddy taught me everything. Taught me how to hustle,
yes,
everything. That's the black man way,
right.
or a
That's right.
responsible way, or the Caribbean way, or people who like they say want to come and make their heights.
Right.
So we've come to a shift where it's been a dramatic shift,
Yeah.
where the now responsible thing is to relax and receive.
Mm,
And that becomes challenging to hear. I would gently, anyone, those of us listening, if you kind of grimaced when you heard that, maybe
mm.
it's because you come from a revolutionary background or a background where it's like, no, the only way to do it is to get out
Right.
and get something.
Right.
And there's truth to that, because it's not about just prayer and not getting up on your feet.
Yeah.
However, we must be self-aware enough to be able to acknowledge that part of that was not just that honorable determination which is there, that grit.
Right.
Part of that is also the vestiges of a capitalist society
Yes, sir.
put on us like a survival method.
Yes.
So what came with us before the Ma'afa, before the interruption of our civilization, was that ingenuity.
Right. Right. Right.
A
Right.
perfect example in the Yoruba pantheon is the Orisha name as Ogun, called Ogun.
Ogun. Right. Right. Right.
Ogun is all about technology, ingenuity, warfare, the iron, and all
Mm,
that kind of stuff. That's the energy that Ogun represents.
right.
And so that's always been with us. That's nothing new. But it's just that it's the perspective with which we have been taught to approach nature.
Right.
That has been the thing that has got us into the need for that reminder from Lao Tzu. Because,
Mm,
the law comes for the lawless. There was a time when people didn't have to be reminded of that.
right. 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 Right.
But the law comes for the lawless. So, here comes El Haj Malik Shabazz under the tutelage of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad asking us, who taught you to hate yourself?
Exactly.
When Dr. Khalid Muhammad, may
Yes.
the Most High be pleased with him, Khalid Abdul Muhammad,
That's right.
he 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 was made an icon to our hip hop generation through
Yes.
Public Enemy and that
Yes.
Nation of Millions
That's right.
intro. When he's like, "Have you forgotten we've been robbed of our culture, robbed of our language, robbed of our God." For me, to answer your question, King Simon, I ask like, well, what does that look like? It's just like we was given a black man instead of a white man instead of a black man on a wall. Is that it, or is it something deeper? You feel me?
Right.
So
Right.
I think part of it is what you just spoke to.
Yeah.
In terms of moving in harmony with nature,
Yes, sir.
moving in harmony with nature. Like they say in street language, our street dialect speaks those spiritual terms clearly.
Yeah.
Real bad boys move in silence.
Real bad.
You know,
Exactly.
I mean,
Exactly.
like, so we ain't gotta really hush and fuss, as we say in the Caribbean, to achieve great things.
Right. Right. Right.
What works better is when we live in harmony with nature. And I
Mm,
can give you an example uh, in terms of the garden. I
right.
know for a fact that in any kind of landscape, if you give a certain type of plant the
Yeah.
ability to grow according to its nature, then that's when it's going to really flourish.
Yes.
So, for instance, a watermelon or a squash or a pumpkin, they really like to climb. That's their nature.
Right.
They vines, they like to travel and climb.
Yeah.
So you give them the opportunity, put them next to a tree, even if you're in Brooklyn.
Yep, they'll do the same thing.
It's not, you ain't got to be on the 40 acres.
Yes.
Even if you're in Brooklyn, even if it's on your patio, you put them somewhere where they can live according to their nature.
Yes.
Well, it's the same way with all humanity, with all creation. So it's a very powerful utterance by Lao Tzu, and also in a very tangible way. Again, it just means that there's natural time and then there's colonized time.
Yes.
It just really goes back to me, just to keep it simple, it really goes back to me to this whole thing of perspective,
Yeah.
When you used to, as a young person, maybe because of the terror you saw the police enact on the people of the world through TV and whatever, you might have had an image of the police like they just fear some people and be scared of the police or be nervous around them.
Right.
And then when you get knowledge yourself and get to find out who you are, you look at them in a different way. You walk on the same street, the same block, you've been seeing them all your life, and it's different now.
Yeah.
It's not something that now you're intimidated by. It's not something that you feel adverse to, in that way, You walk in your own power. So because you're congruent in your power, that's how that becomes. And that's really, I would just end with that,
Yes.
That's that real Marcus Garvey teaching exemplified. When
that's
we know, are people that really know yourself, if you're confident in the race of life, you have won even before you've started.
Right.
But if you're not confident, you're twice defeated in the race of life. So what does confidence look like? What does Godfidence look like? It look like, okay, me being in harmony with my environment. So regardless of my shape, my size, how I so-called match up to the next person and all this kind of stuff, I got a serious work to do in a divine decree, and all my ancestors in a very tangible way are moving with me to enable me to do this. The Most High is in the midst, and I'm driven by my mission.
Yes.
When that is our reality, man, we wouldn't be having these conversations about boycotting and and how do we find ourselves again and all this, because we'd be in our bag.
Yes, sir.
All of those are natural and necessary conversations based on the fact that we have been separated from our nature,
That's right.
So
that's right.
that there's that word again. So thank you for that reminder, King. It's
You're welcome.
Lao Tzu and Sun Tzu, some powerful teachers.
Some powerful teachers,
And military generals too. Don't take it for no joke.
Exactly. I mean, before we move on, I'm gonna take a hard break in the next few seconds. Abundance Child is shouting you out. She's in the chat right now with us. She say
respect, abundance.
Yes,
my sister.
Heard y'all went to school
Child,
together.
yes, I.
Yeah, she said y'all went to school together back in the day.
Yeah, man, original ATL family that.
Yeah. So big up to her, man. Before we move on, we're gonna come back. We're gonna come back after this hard break. Don't go nowhere, family. We got our brother Ras Kofi in the building, farmer, life cultivator, entrepreneur. Hit his website up right now. It's all pinned to the top of the chat, though. It's all pinned on the top of the chat. So when you go to the top of the chat, you see it all pinned out. All of his links are pinned up, but the website is ondafarm.com. PayPal, show them some love, because that's what they're doing, cultivating, showing people how to cultivate. And he also have classes. He does consultations also. So make sure you support that. On the farm, the PayPal or email is ondafarmpros@gmail.com. It's Cash App. Spread love via Cash App. That's On the Farm. And also hit him up at Facebook. That's Ras Kofi on Facebook, and also IG, Farm the Future Academy. So we'll be right back after this. Don't go nowhere, Ras Kofi. We'll be right back after this. We want to take this quick commercial break. Don't touch that dial, family. King Simon Presents Only Quality People is live and direct with my brother, Ras Kofi. We'll be back after this.
Get ready. The 42nd International Reggae and World Music Awards Show is coming to the Coral Springs Center for the Arts, Fort Lauderdale on Sunday, March 20, 2025. Celebrate the biggest names in reggae and world music as we bring nations together through music and culture. Early bird tickets are on sale now. Don't miss out. Grab yours today at thecentercs.com or irama.com and book your stay for an unforgettable weekend. Hurry, prices go up after Thanksgiving. Follow us on social media and visit our website www.irawma.com for more details. The 42nd Irama Show, where the world comes to celebrate music.
It's the numerational session with King Simon. Text your full name and date of birth to 347-496-1022. That's 347-496-1022. And get my books on Amazon now. That's right, family. We are back. We are back. We are melanated carbon and all of that right here. Brother Ras Kofi going to bring it back on in a few seconds. Just want to remind you that this coming Wednesday, we do have our beloved sister, Abundance Child, and John Carr. Her husband will be in the building, keeping family business alive. That's happening this coming Wednesday. So please support. Come out and see how our beautiful sister, who was a business partner of mine for many years back in the day. So enough respect. Stop playing. You know that was stop playing movie back in the day. And please join our membership. Remember, our membership is only $9.99 a month, and you get through all these lessons as far as numeration, how I break the numbers and words and sayings and quotes and all that kind of stuff. I break them all down to show you what they mean from a spiritual, physical, and a numerational perspective. And on this coming Thursday, a special broadcast. Y'all know I usually do my broadcasts on Wednesdays and Sundays. Those are special days to me, of course, according to the numbers. But this one is dear to my heart because I used to work with Dr. Delbert Blair, and we're doing a tribute to Dr. Delbert Blair with the brother Tony, who is now the proprietor and the overseer of the Meta Center 2, or Meta Center Chicago, owned and operated by Dr. Delbert Blair and started by the great Dr. Delbert Blair in the metaphysics, of course. So we're doing a tribute to a metaphysics grandmaster on Thursday at 3 p.m. And then on Sunday, we have Dr. Philip Valentine, another one of last of the Mohicans, will tell you the truth. One of the last of the Mohicans with this metaphysics. This brother here, Dr. Philip Valentine, and brother Sabir Bey will have a great big conversation, which is going to be off the hook, I'm telling you. And then on the 19th, that Wednesday, we have the magic of death money. Dr. Alicia Kair Ill will be in the building at 3:30 p.m. We had to move the time from 9 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. because she has some things to do at the night. And don't forget the grammar of numeration. This is a workshop, an online workshop, private online workshop, how to consciously articulate it. The grammar of numeration and how to consciously articulate it. This is a whole class from 1 to 3 p.m. on February 22nd. And you can get the early bird tickets right now at Linktree/King Simon the Numerator. That's Linktree/King Simon the Numerator. And remember, Lloyd Strayhorn has a power series going on right now. And he has the Learning the Art of Numerology as a Career starting on February 25th. You know that's my brother. You know I'm always going to show him love. And look who I got coming in. The star, the lead actor and writer of Mosiah, a story about the Marcus Mosiah Garvey. It's already airing on Prime Video. Samuel L. Fudge. Him and I had a long, good conversation Found out his birthday. We started breaking down stuff. He said, "Man, he been studying and talking about thinking about learning numbers for a long time because he kept on seeing certain numbers." So big up to Samuel L. So I gave him some insight on the numbers, and sure enough, he's been doing what he's supposed to do in his lifetime. So and I want to big up my moderator in the building, of course, Color Curiosity. She was also with us, and we want to big up Dr. Shakira Moore, another mod when she's in the building, and also Adara Moselle, Paris, and the whole crew. We'll be right back with them momentarily, but let's bring on back our brother, the dear brother, the one, the only Ras Kofi, as I bring him on back with a well-deserved round of applause because I think this is a very important subject. So we got to talk about it, be about it, and keep it moving just like that. My brother Ras, we're here, my brother.
Yes, King. Salute.
All the time.
Salute.
Family, we just mentioned Lao Tzu and Sun Tzu. And I remember Dr. Laila Africa writing in his book that food was a part of the military. You had to have food, or if your military starving, y'all gonna lose this fight. You got to be very careful. And that's why they had to carry their foods with them on the journey, or had to learn how to plant if they was on long journeys, or how to forage looking for food and knowing what to eat and what not to eat, what to drink and what not to drink. Now, is these some of the programs that you offer through your program, my brother, foraging and
Yes,
showing
sir.
about it? Please talk about that and how important that is, my brother, please.
Well, it could be summarized, and thank you for that question. It could be summarized in one of our mantras, which is also one of our T-shirts that our merch, because
Yes.
it's a full culture that we want to present it as a living culture, which it is, instead of something abstract, an
Right.
abstract science.
Right.
Um, Plant, water, cultivate, harvest, repeat.
Mm.
That's the T-shirt we got, and that's the lifestyle.
I got to
That's
get
the
one. I got to get
curriculum.
one. I got to get a
That's the
T-shirt.
curriculum.
Yeah, I got.
Plant, water, cultivate, harvest, repeat.
Mm.
So that's what we teach, and we teach that in various ways. We have a few cohorts coming up through Farm the Future Academy, starting in late May, which is a longer cohort, a 6-week cohort. We have internships that are 6 months.
Right.
One of them in particular starting next February is already closed, so there's no more openings for that. But these cohorts really go into a deep dive into different aspects of agriculture in
Mm-hmm.
modern times. So one of them is a climate change curriculum, but it's called Navigating the Climate of Change. I feel it's very important, King Simon, for us to speak a story when we tell our stories from an empowered space.
Right.
And from an empowered space is keeping it real.
Yeah.
We ain't
Yeah.
talking about embellishing nothing. We ain't talking about changing the facts. We just talking about speaking it from the lion as the historian instead of the hunter
Right.
telling
Right.
the story. So just like there is climate change, just like because of many factors, including a lot of the foolishness that man has done on the earth,
Mm-hmm.
there's a shift in climate.
Right.
New Orleans, Louisiana just had 8.5 inches of snow. That
Yeah.
ain't something that's regular,
That's right.
you
That's
know.
right.
Up in the mountains, because of a hurricane that came through last fall, it touched the mountains in Asheville, North Carolina, in a
Mm.
serious way, way up there,
Right.
and so on and so forth. Every day, we're as farmers, we're seeing in the summertime it gets unbearable heat. Sometimes we're not getting the real springtime where it's a gradual warming up.
Right.
And
Right.
during COVID, ironically enough, that's what happened because
Right.
everything shut down and people were still. So that is one of the offerings in terms of just the navigating the climate of change. And folks can find all of this through linking our ondafarm.square.site. That's our website. It has
Mm-hmm.
all the information. We have other websites, but just to consolidate the information and keep it in one place, I know for our family out there, it's
Right.
ondafarm.square.site. But
Okay.
we also have these one-off classes where we teach things. We have masters in their field, masters of their craft come in and teach stuff like canning and preserving. This was Fannie Lou Hamer's legacy, part of
Mm-hmm.
her legacy. Is she gave practical inspiration to those farmers in the South. That's why they followed her. She
Right.
taught them how to preserve their food so they
Yeah.
wouldn't starve.
Right. Right. Right.
Canning and preserving. Our brother Madi Awezo, great teacher, is a master builder, and he teaches from time to time. We have like 2 or 3 times a year. He's teaching alternative building styles using earth bag homes, and also well, that's what he's taught in. But he also specializes in container homes,
Okay.
bamboo homes, different types of homes that are environmentally safe and wise, dealing with the shift in climate, which
Eco domes, right?
includes a lot of increased flooding, intense storms, as well as drought, the two extremes. So
Yes.
how do you deal with that?
Right. Right.
We talk about compost, a lot
Yeah.
of hands-on classes about compost. We have a monthly class called Garden 101, which deals with composting. Composting is a thing. If I can give a shameless plug for the compost,
Go ahead.
itself as an entity in itself, wherever you are in the world, uh, it's a thing that really practically addresses those two extreme vestiges of climate change. Why?
Mhm.
Because compost helps to achieve drainage, helps promote drainage. So if you're dealing with flooding, you don't need to be on that red clay like down South Georgia. That's why it floods all the time, because it's hard pressed clay because of big ag. They didn't listen to George Washington Carver at
Mhm.
all. So
Mhm.
it's just take, and not replenish the soil.
Right. Right.
It's like going to grandmama's house, and you go to grandma's house for Easter, for Thanksgiving, for Christmas, for all these holidays, and letting her feed you real good like grandmama does, but never going to back to grandma and say, "Can I wash your feet?"
Mhm. Mhm.
Can I do the laundry for you? That
Right.
type of mentality is what created this system that we're dealing with. So the whole point is that living with nature, as you brought out, is what is going to help us to return to our source. You know,
Mhm. Mhm.
so we have these classes. I mean, there's so much more.
Right.
I could really go on, but a lot of classes in how family planning and garden planning is the same thing. So there's a group called Grow Where You Are, really
Mm.
one of our hometown heroes in terms of the agricultural science that
Mhm.
they've shown and proved on. We ain't talking about theory. They've
Mhm.
shown and proved here in Atlanta. Powerful. Grow Where
Mhm.
You Are. They come through and teach a class called um, Grow Your Life,
Mm.
similar to the theme of this program today. Grow your life. So showing how in applying the principles of agriculture, you're applying life principles. You're applying the best practices for life in itself, to build your family, to build your spirituality, to build your finance, to build your business, to build
Yeah.
your spirituality, your communion with nature, to build your community life, all of
Mhm.
that
Mhm.
by applying agricultural principles. So again, it's plant, water, cultivate, harvest, repeat.
Right.
Because those are the key principles that we can really expound on. If we had time to
Yeah.
to say, well, this is what planting means, other than putting a seed in the ground,
Right. Right.
because it
Right.
starts with a vision.
Now.
There's
Now.
a curriculum we have called Life is a Farm, which is
Yes.
one of our main slogans in terms of my business on the farm. And that is an extended metaphor. It says that the fundamental principles of agriculture are the same as the fundamental principles of community life and human existence. I wrote a
Mm.
song about it. Like the brother said, like to hear, here you go. My mama always tell me that you reap what you sow. A universal truth that the world have to know. Nothing a go grow unless it cultivate. You got to see the victory coming out of the gate. Life is a farm and the massive been warned. Loving in abundance does still the dawn. Life is a farm and the mission is a must. That's why the rooster start crow before the daylighted bus, yo. King Simon
Boom.
know this to be true.
Boom. Boom.
Life
Boom.
is a
Boom. Boom.
farm.
Boom.
So we got to start with a vision. You got to know what you want.
That's right. That's right.
You got
That's
to
right.
know what you want. All the spiritual teachers through the ages have told us that. The secret is the feeling.
Right. Right.
Not even so much kind of forcing, definitely not actually forcing something in your head, but feeling like, how am I going to feel when I
Right.
got tomatoes and cucumbers and squash and the other types of fruit and maybe one or two vegetables that my grandmama used to grow. So I'm growing it to
Right.
connect with her because she's passed on now for
Right.
sentimental value. How am I going to feel?
Right. Right.
That's how I sit down in this time. And it's a very timely. interview we're doing, King Simon. Big up yourself. It's divine timing because this is the time where we're in the winter and we're sealing up the planning stage to
Right.
get ready, as you said your mother did. God
Yes.
bless her. You know,
She's still doing it.
to come into the move into the spring. You're not waiting for the spring at some event, but
No.
commanding the seasons, right?
Exactly.
Using every season for what it's for. So
Exactly.
out of winter comes spring. Like one of the things that many of family members may know is that when you hear about all these diabolical things with people hoarding seeds and having big seed banks, where are they? They're in the Arctic. Why? Because they're following nature.
Mm.
They store in a cold, dark place. But after winter, what Miss Hill said? After winter
Mm.
comes spring.
Right.
So we
Right.
come out naturally.
Mm.
So in living with nature, we have the most optimal momentum. We're not swimming upstream, you know.
Right. Right. Right.
So yeah, it's there's a lot there, and there's so
So
much to
I know.
share. It's just in a nutshell, though. There's
Uh,
three main curriculum coming out: the navigating the climate of change, life is a farm, and the one I'm most proud of because my daughter actually on the navigating the climate of change too. My daughter is the filmmaker. It's an interactive curriculum, so it's a
mhm.
documentary as well as hands
Mm.
on. You know,
Good.
she's creating a film over it. But my second daughter, Amma, she created a curriculum and a whole brand, apothecary,
Mm.
on farm to skin. You know,
Right.
the skin is the largest organ.
Right.
Cosmetics is a huge industry,
Mm-hmm.
and people don't know that you can really not only heal your life because there's so much disease that's based around the skin because of the cosmetic, the toxic corporate cosmetic industry. Our
Mm-hmm.
mother nature provides in very clear ways, and we ain't talking about you got to go to some exquisite island or you got to invest a lot of money on trying to go to some place out in the middle of nowhere to get these stuff right here in your backyard because nature always presents what it's needed for itself. Let me tell y'all something real quick.
Mm-hmm.
You know that if you urinate in your yard, I'm not telling you to get a public
Mm-hmm.
indecent exposure ticket. I'm
Yes,
talking
sir.
about discreetly, even
Right.
if just because of the fact that most of the yards still maybe have septic and everything. If you've lived in a yard for more than 2 years,
Mm-hmm.
the herbs that are growing in your yard are directly a reflection of what is your need and your family's need.
Yes. Yep. Yep.
Just
I know.
like they talk about King Simon, they talk about GMOs and how people are genetically modifying. Guess what?
Mm-hmm.
We can do the same thing. If
Mm.
you soak a seed in your saliva, just like you take a saliva test, a DNA test, guess
Mm-hmm.
what you're doing? You imprinting that with King Simon family needs. You're imprinting
Mm-hmm.
that with Ras Kofi family needs. You're imprinting, abundance child family needs. You're
Mm-hmm.
giving it more information. It's still going to be a carrot. It's still going to be a tomato. It's still going to be a squash. But now it's a squash that is even more directly designed because Mama Nature is always giving us.
Mm-hmm.
It's even more directly designed to do what? To meet our needs. So yeah, it's a lot there. But that farm to skin curriculum is something I'm very proud of. And my
Yes.
daughter created a curriculum, I see, and a whole line of products from hydrosols to salves to face cream to all kind of stuff. So we have the answers. We
Yes.
a lot of times, King Simon, we hear people say, we all we got. And it's
Right.
funny because, well, not funny to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a lot of that time it don't sound very encouraging. Like we all we got. Like
Yeah. Yeah. Don't
we
sound.
stuck. I'm stuck with you, King Simon, for the next 40 years. No, and all we need.
Right. All we
So when
need.
I say we all we got, that's a celebration
Right.
because I know everybody. All those ancestors you mentioned and then some. They're all in here. That energy that they deposited, the
Mm-hmm.
information they left in books, the information they left in their institutions, in products,
Mm-hmm.
that ain't gone nowhere.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So here we are.
You know, but I know we got like 9 more minutes. I usually like do an hour show without people, man, to make sure everything is going well. And but one of the questions I do have is how do a lot of people's getting into metaphysics and wanting to understand. A lot of the young people are starting to transfer into that. But how do you attune yourself to the energy of the soil, the plants,
Mm.
and the elements, and how can we apply these connections to align ourselves with the natural flow of life from your perspective?
My shortest answer yet, and real complete. Just put your hands in the soil. Get
Mm,
barefoot. Go outside.
right, right, right,
It's really that simple. I invite folks to do some research on the healing microbes, that antidepressant microbes, the stress relieving microbes in
hmm
the soil.
right.
That's why a lot of y'all old school people know your father. If you lived
Yeah,
up in a 2-parent home, or
yes,
even if you observe your grandmamas and your grandfathers, because they was probably together, even if parents weren't.
right.
Them old school men, they sit down and they just read their newspaper and be like, "Yes, dear."
Hmm
And that's they say that that's a part of the science of mating, the
hmm
ability for a man to say, "Yes, dear, baby, you're right." And the three key words to longevity in a marriage. I'm
hmm
halfway joking, but it's a science to it. It's that
yeah,
same thing. However, well, it's the same way with getting out in the dirt.
right, right.
When you see your grandfather out there or your grandmother
Hmm
going in the dirt and playing, there's a
hmm
science to it, because you can't bring you when the inevitable happens, that there's that creative tension between the masculine and the feminine energy.
hmm
You go to the soil. You literally, I ain't talking about nothing special, not going to the store. I'm talking about the soil wherever you are.
hmm
Unless it's something that's really toxic, and chemical, it's nuclear dump there or something. That's different. But the general soil in our neighborhoods, even in the city, and just put your hands in the soil, because you can't come to the soil with your arrogance. 10
Right.
minutes, whatever the stress was, whatever the beef was, is forgotten. I
Mm.
can almost guarantee you, I don't like to use that word, but I invite the family to do that experiment and then check in with King Simon and tell him his results.
Tell me
Tell him
what
your
happened.
results. Real talk.
Real
It's really
talk.
that simple.
That's
You
simple.
know,
Exactly.
Even in terms of acclimating ourselves with the seasons, one of the things to do is to go outside barefoot.
Yep.
And when we go with the intention, the clarity that we're not being reckless, you ain't gonna catch a cold.
That's right.
Even if especially, it's like how people take cold showers and cold
Yes.
plunge and everything as a means. My father is 99 years young right now. And
Mm.
even during this winter, he was insisting on keeping his showers cold, you know?
Yes.
And that's a part of the secret to his longevity, right? But I'm
That's right.
saying there's something there. It's not mystical. It's
That's
about the nervous system in the body having such a connection with the nervous system of the earth.
yeah.
So for every season, our Mama Earth gives us some medicine for that season. So
Mm.
by putting ourselves, going outside barefoot and just touching the ground for a while, barefoot, even
Mm.
if it's just for a few minutes, and taking some deep breaths, that creates a connection with the two nervous systems, the earth and
Yeah.
ourselves. And
Yes.
she acclimates us to the time.
Yeah.
That's why you see native plants don't have a bunch of bugs on them. You
Mm-hmm.
know, That's
Mm-hmm.
why you see it's ironic. We're not striving to be like that, but a lot of people that are living on the street and everything, they're susceptible to many other ills of society, but usually, ironically, have strong immune systems in some way once there's able to be nutrition there.
Yep.
Why?
That's true.
Because they acclimated, they living in harmony with nature.
Yes. Right. That's right.
Even if it's under force, because I don't want to,
Yeah. I know. I know. I know. I understand.
minimize that reality, you know what I'm saying? But the reality is there's something there about nature. So yeah, that's how we do it, King Simon. We touch the soil and let them healing microbes do what they do.
And thank you very much for that answer, brother. One of the last things we're going to close with is one of your sayings on your Instagram. You said, educating the future generation of Earth stewards with online and hands-on training. Talk to those
Yeah.
young people, those people that you are going to continue to educate. And I love what you're saying about your daughters. They're coming out and they're really representing, and that's a beautiful legacy to leave. But that's what you have on your Instagram, educating the future generation of Earth's stewards with
Yeah.
online and hands-on training. Talk to that, and let's close out with that. Land your mothership right there, my brother. Go ahead.
Respect. Well, Online and the hands-on, it just speaks to the fact that we have hybrid classes. So you
Yes.
can be in the comfort of your home, be in your drawers, turn the
Mhm.
camera off, and take a class and get some real practical information. You
Exactly.
can be anywhere in the world and do that. And then,
That's
of course, there's nothing like kinesthetic learning. So we have classes that are here in Atlanta and surrounding areas. Sometimes we go on retreats,
hmm
for weekend intensives and
right.
really do our thing, really get in nature and leave. Start with a focus, start with a goal, with an intention. We're going to build this and we're
hmm
going to get through the step. We're going to go through the principles and procedures and then we're going to tackle it. So
Right.
even some of those hybrid classes look like that, like Wednesday evening or Thursday evening, we'll have a Zoom where we
Mhm.
go through the processes and procedures of the thing, right? And then all day Saturday, all day Sunday, we out in the field building. And
Mhm.
this is the best way to learn. So we really encourage our family to be in tune with ourselves. Wherever you are in the world, plant some food, yo. Let me just turn this around. You can do it in your windowsill.
Yes. Yes.
You don't have to have the promised 40 acres or the mule.
That's
You could
right.
do it in your balcony. I have
Yeah.
an aunt that lives on the 10th floor of an apartment in Manhattan,
hmm
121st Street and Broadway.
Wow.
And she
Yes.
grows more food in her windowsill than a whole lot of us grow with our big backyards in Georgia.
That's right.
So it's really about just getting with the soil and that connection with the soil same way. Think
Yep.
about how our grandmothers kept their peace and had these lush plants in their house, going through all kind of stress. It's because that's soil.
Yes.
That's I
That's
mean it would have been a different equation, y'all. So
yeah.
that's the soil is a gift and it's here for us. We don't it don't really cost much. If
hmm
anything, it's an investment. If we're talking about building a garden and all that, and we can
hmm
compost, we can reduce waste. So
hmm
those are the classes we have. So the things that we chop up in our fridge and in our kitchen,
Right.
they don't have to go to the dump.
You don't have to
They
go to
can return because this whole thing about ashes to ashes and dust to dust is not no kind of religious poetry. It's actual fact. It's science.
that's right.
All organic matter returns to soil. That's
That's
what it
right.
becomes.
That's right.
So thank you, King Simon, for having us. You
Appreciate you, man.
you you honor me by inviting me, and you're asking me about something I'm very passionate about. So
Yes. Yes.
we could go on all night. So much
Yes.
respect to your viewers, your listeners,
Thank you
and
very much.
I truly appreciate your work, brother. How you show up in the community, not
Thank you.
just with this platform. Really teaching us about numbers. God, life is mathematics, true indeed. So the way you
Yes.
bring it is empowering, and I think that it's just by teaching us. That's what I mean by teaching us to tell a new story.
hmm
That we're gonna see our way home. Storytelling is gonna bring us home.
Well, thank you very much, brother. And tell them the radio show again. What days your radio show comes on?
The radio show comes on every Thursday from 2 to 4 Eastern Time on WRFG. That's Radio Free Georgia,
Right.
89.3 on the FM dial, and all around the world at WRFG.org.
Oh,
Many streaming options. 2 to 4 is the name of the show is The Ancestral Rock. And we'll be launching a few shows and a few other platforms within the next month. Black Power Media, Camps TV in Guyana,
hmm
just to make sure that our community does what we can do to
hmm
seize this time, to take advantage of this very fertile time. It might
Yes.
look like a troubling time, but it's actually a very opportune time if we know what we're doing. So
Exactly.
let's do it.
My brother, I want to thank you. I want to give you a well-deserved round of applause as you head out, man. Thank you very much, showing
Much
love and
respect.
man. Prayers for all your ancestors behind you and keep on doing what you're doing, brother. Keep on doing. We're gonna connect because I need you to come see this backyard one day.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Much
yes.
love, King Simon, and to the
All right.
family.
One love. Take care. All right. You
Respect.
too. All
Respect.
right. Respect. That's our brother, man. Give Ras Kofi a well-deserved round of applause. What a great show. Make sure y'all share it with other people. This is and it's basic, but you could get so much from going to his website right here on the farm. He's right here in Georgia, but he does it online. He does a Zoom. If you want a conversation, you could show. You could be on your phone showing what you want to grow and what you want to do with your garden or whatever your in-house garden, your home garden, your windowsill garden. You can even do a consultation with him. Go to the website, book a consultation, and please support him. All of the links right here, the PayPal, the Cash App, website. If you can't support me, support him. The IG, join him on IG, join him on Facebook also. Very good information. I know people are watching Super Bowls and all that. I'm not going to watch it. I'll probably watch the highlights after. But I don't, my mind is, my vibration is another level, of course, what we're doing here to help, because everybody in the Super Bowl one day is going to be part of the dirt society also. They're going to be feeding the earth also and be part of the earth one day. So we got to learn how to cultivate this earth. All of us are going to be a part of this earth one day. So, and that's not being disrespectful to the game and all the talented people that's going to be there, and the performances by my man Kendrick Lamar, who was born the same day as Steve Coakley. So I'm not surprised that his success is riding, especially through information and pointing out things and what he's doing, because that's what Steve Coakley did back in his day, born June the 17th. Those who know who Steve Coakley was, he was the decoder. I'm gonna have to play some Steve Coakley tips and some Steve Coakley tapes, and because I've been at one of his lectures back in the day also. So big up to the late great Steve Coakley. He does have a junior named Steve Coakley Jr. So he's in Ghana right now, and that's where he sent them. So man, I'm honored to have had the brother on. Make sure you support the brother and everything. And remember what I showed y'all that Lao Tzu said. And he really loved that quote. Lao Tzu said, "Nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished." You can't hurry a rose. You can't hurry a cucumber. You can't hurry a tomato. You can't. Nature does not hurry. They trying to do it, and they making these Franken vegetables and these Franken food. But they're trying to do it, but they're adding a lot of hormones and a lot of other pesticides and stuff to try to force it. But you can't force nature, man. Nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished. Make sure y'all check out my brother. I've had him before on my show. Also, I brought him to New York back in the day. Make sure y'all check out my brother Iris Latham, Dr. Iris Latham, Baba Iris Latham. He was on the Rock Newman show just a week ago. Rock Newman, check out 2.0. Check out what he was saying also. So big up to Iris Latham. I'm going to contact him because he's going to be going on tour soon. So I want to contact him and get an interview with my brother, still climbing a coconut tree at his age, at his young age, because really age is one of those things that you only think the way you are if you allow yourself to say, I'm 79 or 80 and I'm old. No, you could be 79 and 80 climbing coconut trees like he's doing right now. You know what I'm saying? So big up to him, man. Big up to my brother Iris Latham. But again, make sure y'all support my brother Ras Kofi, what he's doing on ondafarm.com, ondafarm.com. Remember, and his saying on his Instagram is educating the future generation of Earth stewards with online and hands-on training. So again, support everything that he do. Check out my Patreon if you can. My Patreon is patreon.com/King Simon Production. But make sure you join my membership. My membership is on and popping. People are loving my membership because I got a lot of the major lessons on my membership. Yes. All the major stuff on the membership, So we get, and it was good. And again, Ras Kofi was just on how to cultivate to live. This coming Wednesday, I have my dear Abundance Child. She's in the feed right now. She's in the chat right now. Her and her husband are going to be there, keeping family business alive, not only physically, but also spiritually. This coming Wednesday, we're going to talk about the spiritual aspects of it and the physical aspect, because without the spiritual, the physical can't thrive, and without the physical, the spirit can't thrive. So we got to work both of them. And then we got the tribute to Dr. Delbert Blair for his birthday coming up. Then we got Dr. Philip Valentine and Brother Sabir Bey coming in. And then we have Alicia Kayer, Dr. Alicia Kayer coming in on the 19th. Then I got my workshop, The Grammar of Numerovation and How to Consciously Articulate it. And I'm not caught up in the regular baseline jargons. I want people to create their own, if they have to create their own language, so they could remember, because sometimes you don't remember what a soul urge is. You might want to say inner self. inner urge. You might, and that's what most of these numerologists have done, change the language and create it, but it always mean basic same. Expression, life path. Sometimes the life path number can be mixed up with the destiny number, when usually, according to consensus, the destiny number is when you add up the full name, the fullness of all the letters and the numbers connected to those letters of the name. But you can, again, don't let people, myself included, don't let people dictate how you're going to manipulate and use the numbers as guidance. That's why I'm doing this workshop, because this is going to be a little different, because I'm doing the grammar of number, and I'm going to break down this word grammar, because that word grammar is consciously and vibratorily telling you something on what you need to do with these words. And because it have the double M's in the middle of the word grammar, the double N's in both systems add up to a number 4, or add up to a 13, or 1, or 4, and 4 represents trusting the order of the universe. So if the universe within you needs to be trusted, the universe within you needs to be trusted, even when you are dealing with grammar, because you got to remember that the so-called people that have taught us grammar, they learned from us at one point in time. They wasn't always speaking. They didn't even know how to speak until the melanated people, whether it was the Moorish paradigm, whether it's the indigenous people of certain places, or the indigenous people of Europe and all that, taught them how to read and write, and then they took their show on the road. So grammar doesn't come from them. Grammar comes from us. And I want people to understand the mathematical and the numerational grammar of things. That's why I'm doing this class on 1 to 3 p.m. on February 22nd. Go to my link tree. You can get the early bird tickets right now. Linktree/King Simon, the Numerator. Linktree/King Simon, the Numerator. I can put it in the chat if you need it. Let me see if I can put it in the chat. See if I got it right here in the chat. I should have it right. I could be able to put it right in the chat, so y'all can go on ahead and hit the link. The link is ready, and you can go ahead and get your tickets and join me for those couple of hours that I'll be sharing that wisdom from multiple perspectives. From multiple perspectives, I'm going to be dropping it. I'm gonna go back to the old numerologists and the newer numerologists. I'm even tapping with Lloyd, because Lloyd and everybody is really on the same consensus. Like, you got to show respect to the base, but yet you got to be able to create and keep on adding on, not disrespecting the base. Always add on as generations start to keep on moving forward. Keep on building. That's what it's all about, building. It's in the chat. The link, well, that's all my links are in the chat. That's leading you to my thing there. But I thought I had my Instagram, my link tree up in here. It's supposed to be up in here, but I got to rewrite it and type it again. But you can go to that all my links right there. You can go to all my links. That'll lead you right to it also. But yeah. So it is what it is. We're gonna have a good time. And remember, my brother Lloyd Strayhorn is teaching a class also. Remember, Lloyd Strayhorn is teaching a class on how to make numerology a career. On February 25th, he's actually teaching a class on how to make numerology a career. So make sure y'all support my brother Lloyd Strayhorn. He's the elder in it. And I want y'all to get the foundation of what the elders have to offer and be willing to build on what the elders have been teaching. Be able to build on what the elders have been teaching. Okay, that's very important for me to keep on doing and keep on adding on. We don't have to take away nothing from the elders. We don't have to disrespect the elders. We can keep on adding on, because every elder out there wanted you to study and take it to the next level for your day and time. I remember watching Iron Man. I think it's one of the Avengers movies. And Tony Stark said something. His father said something to him very key in the film that he was watching, because Tony Stark didn't believe that his father liked him and all that. And the black man, the brother Nick Fury, had to say, no, that's not true, man. So he gave him all the tapes and all the stuff. And in the middle of the taping, while Tony was a little young, he said, hey, Tony, He said all this technology was for him. And because of the time he was in, it wasn't going to be able to work at that time. But he knew that by the time Tony Stark got older, that technology would work, because we got to add on to what the elders teach us. Because sometimes at that point in pivotal time when Noble Drew Ali was there, the pivotal time when Dr. Ben was there, the pivotal time when Honorable Elijah Muhammad was there, the pivotal time when Marcus Garvey was there, it wasn't supposed to work at that time. Only what was supposed to work at that time was for that time. But we got to keep on adding on and growing and building for the next generation. And that's why I understood when I watched that Avengers movie with Tony Stark meets, I think, Nick Fury probably for the first time, and didn't know that he knew his father. I understood the deeper understanding of that, and why it's important to keep on adding on. Generations are supposed to get better, not worse. We're not supposed to get worse, we're supposed to get better. So I pray that we are all working as much as we can to help our generation to become better. That's really what it's all about. Hopefully, I'm praying that my own children get better than what they were before, better than what they was before, better than me, what they did. Somebody said Bobby Hemmett. Before Bobby Hemmett, there was a Pascal Beverly Randolph. Before Bobby Hemmett, there was a Delbert Blair. Delbert Blair before Bobby and all of them. Delbert Blair before Bobby, Phil, and all of them, to tell you the truth. You know what I'm saying? Before that, there was a C. Freeman L. And remember, Bobby Hemmett used to be in C. Freeman L's class. He talked about C. Freeman L. So people don't realize that you got to keep on adding on from your perspective, man. Keep on adding on. And that's what Bobby did. And then when Bobby went silent, Panic did, and so on and so forth. So we got to keep on adding on. Stop. I wish some of these guys would stop trying to destroy the elders' legacy, instead of saying that was what he had to deal with in his time. Let's see what we could add on, because they went through some stuff to get to where they are. They went through some stuff, and some of the stuff we wouldn't even be able to go through at this time. Some of us are just too emotional to go through it at this time. You know what I'm saying? Some of us ain't willing to do certain things, but we think we could just Google things and find things, when sometimes you got to do some real cross-reference research, some real field research, some real observation research, some real looking into things. I don't come when I do numerology, I don't just look at these books. I have to observe what's happening in my family with people connected to these numbers. I observe celebrities. I observe rich people, poor people. I observe professors, doctors. I observe the times that they transition. Every time I hear about a transition, even with the new guys, Irv Gotti and the Neely Fullers, I look at the cycles that they was in, and more than likely, if not 95% of the time, they are in cycles that can be attracted to what just went on, why they transitioned at that particular time. That's exactly how it works. That's what I've recognized doing these studies of numbers. So, Negroes on the other end of the dial can call this, or try to call it, pseudo, but I'm very careful about that word pseudo, especially coming from Greeks and freaks that used to go into Africa, study, but if they didn't understand something, they would call it pseudo. They call it pseudo because they didn't understand it. It's false because you don't live up or understand what the dynamics of the knowledge that they had to offer, whether it was an Ifa or whether it was Akan, whether it was Kemetic, whether they understood the spiritual systems or not. They didn't know. And they called it pseudo. Real quick, they did that. So, we gotta stay on top of our journey. Gotta stay on top of the journey. And hopefully you do better than what your parents did. I know I've done better than what my father did in regards to promotion and production. There's things that I did that he never did. He never got on that stage in Madison Square Garden or promoted for it. He always had the basement clubs, and that was it, and whatever he had. But I went on radio, and some of the artists that he was playing, I brought them into town just by working at SOBs. I brought them to town, the Gregory Isaacs, the Dennis Brown, the Culture, the people that he was playing, the Burning Spears. I got to hug and sit down with his wife. These people, and my father probably never met them. My auntie had the burning spear and 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 um and the Big Youth albums, and I met Big Youth. I've brought Big Youth. I've worked with U Roy and all these older artists back in the day. So I said, man, I remember listening to these guys when I was young. So we're supposed to take it to the next level, whatever we do and however we do it on another level. So again, I want to thank Brother Ras Kofi because he's taken what him and Karen Mason used to be a part of, even in the music, but also understanding cultivating of people. And him and Karen Mason, I knew Karen Mason in New York. And then when she moved to Georgia, I knew she was out there. We spoke on the phone a few times, but we never got to link up. She transitioned, and that was it. But I'm glad that there's still people out there, her daughter and everybody still keeping that essence alive with Karen Mason. Because we spoke about Karen Mason in the early part because her birthday just came in January, and we spoke about the great legacy and history of Karen Mason and what she did in the music business, but also did with Alton Maddox and worked with all the warrior lawyer, the great warrior lawyer, Alton Maddox. So on that note, family, I want to thank each and every one of y'all. Big up to Color Curiosity, one of my mods. Big up to Dr. Shakira Moore. She got her new book. She about to do a pre-orders on that. Adara Moselle. Big up to Adara Moselle. Make sure you do a free consultation with her. Scan that QR code or go to adaramoselle.com. She helps to remove negative energy and all kind of energy work because everything is energy. Big up to Paris Williams, of course, herbalist, nutritionist, intuitive advisor. Hit her up at Instagram, YouTube, and her website. Kendall Cobbs, do some get your mind right. She helped me out, that's for sure. Some people they can't be helped. Some people could be helped. If you're not open to it, hey, it is what it is. But it definitely helped me out. Big up to her, hit her up. Big up to Carrie Ann Ingram, very good person, man. Reduce depression, stress, anxiety. Very good at what she does with Reiki and sound healing. Big up to my brother from Canada to America, from all of the Americas, North America to Mid America to South America. This brother is doing his taxes, helping you to do your taxes, getting your taxes right. Big up to my son JB, who got his car detailing, dumpster wash, and pressure wash company. Big up to him. My son got the recording studio in New York. Big up to him. Also, make sure you go and work with him. A lot of people is working with him now. I'm so happy for my brother's growth. And if you want to book a session with me right here, text me your full name, date of birth, and email to 347-496-1022. And the email to 347-496-1022. And I'll send the details. I got 4 levels of doing a session with me now: 10-minute, 15-minute, 30-minute, and now also the 60-minute session. All right. And get all my books on Amazon. You will learn. I'm telling you that you will learn from all of my books, whether it's something new for you or whether it's something older for you. You will learn through my books. All of them are very good at what they do and what they present. And look out for this new book. I'm still editing this book right now. I'm in front of my old computer just editing this. So that's the numerational angles and angel numbers. And look out for my children's book coming up, also called Strive to Live a Positive Life. Strive to live a positive life. Remember what Dr. B says: I forgive myself, my family, and others for imperfection, and I am thankful for my life. And remember what Dr. Blair used to say: please, universal creator, know in my heart that I love you. Please protect me and this planet on which I live now. Please open my mind, my spirit, and my soul to receive only truth in your love now. Family, have a wonderful day, afternoon, or evening. This has been your host with the most, Brother King Simon. We had a wonderful time at the fest. Great time at the fest. Brought on Dr. B with a well-deserved round of applause. Probably Brother Rich is going to come up on his channel and talk about it. I might come up behind him and we're just going to have a good time on his channel. But it was packed out. People was there. I think the only one of the people that didn't make it out there, I think Brother Sharif Bey, I think he was snowed in or something happened with his flight. And I believe there was somebody else that was not able to make it, but Aaron Lyons came, Brother Billy Carson came, Dr. B came, Q Reeves was there, Brother Yusuf was there, Dr. Sharika Moore. These are people that's been on his channel before. They came through, they represented Myra, Sister Myra L was there, Myra Moss L was there, she was there, she spoke, B Dell spoke, and Blue Pill, Red Pill spoke. It was a beautiful, beautiful event. All right, beautiful event. And I know today they're doing a Super Bowl event at Edgewater. I think it's 488 Edgewater. Right now they're doing a Super Bowl event. So, all right, take care, family. Remember, I love you because I love me. Stay strong, stay focused, stay on top of the world, your own mental world as well as your physical world. Take care. Numerovation with King Simon. Text me now at 347-496-1022. You could also take my course if you want to, but do text me for your sessions at 347-496-1022. You can also get my books on Amazon at Linktree/King Simon the Numerator. Remember, you can book your session and get it done right now. 347-496-1022. That's 347-496-1022. King Simon the Numerator.
Get ready. The 42nd International Reggae and World Music Awards Show is coming to the Coral Springs Center for the Arts, Fort Lauderdale on Sunday, March 20, 2025. Celebrate the biggest names in reggae and world music as we bring nations together through music and culture. Early bird tickets are on sale now. Don't miss out. Grab yours today at thecentercs.com or irama.com and book your stay for an unforgettable weekend. Hurry, prices go up after Thanksgiving. Follow us on social media and visit our website, www.irawma.com for more details. The 42nd Irama Show, where the world comes to celebrate music.
So remember, our job as studiers of these metaphysical esoteric knowledge is to help enhance people to be better. I, as a numerator, using the numbers or quote-unquote numerals and motivation to get people to understand why they need to activate their numbers to be their very best self and maximize it. Because the numerals hold a frequency. And if you're willing to turn up that frequency, then that frequency can help to guide you and navigate you to a higher height that will allow you to spiral to be your best self. We must remember that.